Yes, it is true. The Black Ace Hockey Podcast is back in action. My name is Blaine, and I'm right here as always with your co-host Nick Jenks Jenkins. What's going on, man?
Happy Halloween, everybody! We are in Halloween week. We had a good time at a Halloween party this weekend. We got together in person for that. It is a strange couple of fall days here in Pennsylvania, where we've got some sun and mid 70s weather. It's really nice. Thought I was done with the sticks this year. Might have to dig them back out for one more round in me.
Yeah,
So
nothing like 20-degree weather, and then all of a sudden 70-degree weather midday, midweek. I love it here in Pittsburgh, PA. But yeah, the sticks, they were in my car. I think they're gonna have to retire to the old garage here soon. So might have to give them a fresh cleaning just to let them know what they're missing out on this coming year. But although Erie does have that new indoor like golfing facility now, right? It's like brand new.
yeah, I think it's called Five Iron Golf.
Yeah.
It's like a miniature indoor. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. What's the
Like VR, like virtual
no? What's the frickin'
driving range. Top golf.
Top Golf? Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Jeez.
like a little indoor Top Golf where they've basically got like a bunch of simulator bays
Yeah.
and a full bar and everything. And yeah, might have to give that a try this winter. It sounds like fun.
Yeah. Um, I actually, so considering it's Halloween, Jenks, have you ever worn a costume out to play? Like, have you seen that this year or no?
Like wearing it on the ice for a
Yeah,
game.
like sometimes goalies like pull like stuff over their mask or like a hat or a Where's Waldo shirt, big large one.
I mean, I've seen like players come out for warm ups and something like that.
Okay.
Um, Not too many times. I mean, you gotta you gotta have some a good sense of humor to do something like that.
I
I think.
Yeah, I feel like it's a junior thing, like when they come out with all those
Yeah,
crazy jerseys for like Star Wars night or whatever. Like,
yeah,
hey, like
yeah, for
you
sure.
guys pick whatever costume you want, and we'll create a jersey out of it. So
Yeah.
I might do a quick Google search after this and put up some pictures if there was any 2024 Halloween. We might still be early. Halloween's in 2 days technically. We're recording this on the 29th, so if any games are actually on Halloween day, so we'll keep everybody posted about that. But diving into some hockey news this past week, a lot of things going on. A lot of old heads coming back to teams or going away from teams this coming week and last week. So I want to jump into uh, the kind of big two, I'm calling it. Stammer back in Tampa, and Fleury is going to be back in Pittsburgh this coming week for possibly his last game. Um, but just seeing the Stammer tribute down in Tampa had to be an emotional roller coaster for that man. I think it's kind of cruel to set this guy up for failure right off the jump.
Just let it rip, man.
Yeah, this guy's crying. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think Stammer was there long enough where a lot of the fans they're not taking that too hard. The
Yeah.
fact that he left, um, which is good because everything that he did for that organization, right? They won Stanley Cups with him. Um, he had some significant injury problems where it was like, is this guy going to have to retire early because of
Right.
it a few years ago? And he bounced back and led him to the Cup. So he's done so much for that organization and really brought some stability to the club. And
Yeah.
now that Tampa's seen as kind of this every year powerhouse, and that's a lot to do with him. So the fans gave him his due. It was definitely a well planned out and a warm welcome for Stammer, and clearly he got emotional for that. It's cool to see those type of things. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's nice when like players leave on like kind of a good note from teams. I know, um, you know, some players weren't always received back to the organization as well. Like Yager, obviously anywhere he go, pretty much boo city. But towards the end of his career, everybody started liking him. Um, Eric Carlson a few times back in
Yeah.
Ottawa. It's just like people when they try to get out of a team in a bad situation, that's when like those sort of things tend to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice to see Stammer. Unfortunately, the Preds didn't get the W for him. Tampa Bay upsets the Tribute and takes the win 3-2 there. But um, yeah, just overall, like it's kind of weird to see some of these guys like jump teams, but I'm sure like the next couple of years, just seeing him out there, it's kind of like Brent Burns, like in a Carolina jersey, or Brent Burns in a Sharks jersey. Like you just got to give it a few years to get the wheels turning,
Yeah.
and we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
So today, going to the second part of the Big Two, Fleury back in the Berg. If he doesn't get the start, Jenks, he has to get the start. I feel like
He's already confirmed to start.
okay. I was gonna say
It's late enough in the day that they've already confirmed he's starting.
this
I think
guy.
this has been circled on the calendar for months. They
Well,
know they were starting him.
Well, they didn't start him last season, and it was possibly his last season in the NHL as well. So like, I I don't know. Like, if they didn't start him, I think there'd be a riot in Bill Guerin's front yard.
Oh my God,
There,
yeah.
there'd be torches, pitchforks, like old school. I'm talking medieval riot type shit. Like maybe like
Yep.
overalls, guy in a hat saying "You can't do it," all that stuff. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool to see Fleury is coming back, even though yeah we didn't protect him. Yeah, I get it, but I think Pittsburgh will always have a home for Fleury if he wants one, and I bet Fleury always kind of holds Pittsburgh in high regard as well.
Yeah, honestly, I know we're talking past the point of his retirement now, but I could see Fleury like settling back in Pittsburgh and taking on a role with the organization or something.
Really? Okay.
Um, he was with the club for so many years, and then he unfortunately, had the expansion draft never happened, he probably would still be a Penguin. We had to protect somebody. We took a chance on the young guy, and he proceeded to break his leg after hearing the news.
Yeah.
And we've never seen him again.
Yeah, he's
So-
in a igloo down in Antarctica right now.
But Fleury was obviously emotional when he had to leave Pittsburgh. He said plenty of times in interviews that Pittsburgh is his home, no matter where he ends up. So, just me speculating, I could totally see him end up back in Pittsburgh in a couple of years here and doing something with the organization. Sort of like when they brought back, Gonchar to coach the defense and those types of guys.
Yeah, I could see that, but like when you're that high caliber of a player, like I always think like,
Yeah.
hey, you're probably gonna take a few years off first. I mean, Gonchar, yeah,
Oh, sure.
but
Sure.
I mean, he wasn't like a well-known guy. And then I look at people like Colby Armstrong that he does broadcasting, or Jay Caulfield or Eddie Olczyk got into broadcasting is real big now. The people that like aren't that well known, I can kind of see it. Kind of like Biz Nasty, Ryan Whitney, these types of characters. But I would maybe see Fleury as like an owner or possibly like a youth hockey coach. I could totally see that. Just like the guys like in a rundown barn that gets a ton of kids to come because he's Marc-Andre Fleury. So it's just that he's that kind of guy.
hmm
So I think that's where his career is going to go. I think he's going to be youth hockey, 10U AAA up in Canada somewhere. That's what I think.
I could see that too. Regardless of wherever he goes, he's going to draw people, and he's just such a good guy, well-liked guy. I mean, it'll be good things for whatever he does. That organization's going to benefit.
Yep. And some recent news, actually, kind of out of this past week, the Four Nations. There's a viral clip going around of a reporter asking who the captain of the Canadian team should be, and McDavid's just like, obviously Crosby. This guy's
Yeah.
a legend, the legend of the legends. So It's pretty cool to see like a little head nod from arguably the best hockey player in today's game, and might go down as possibly all-time great. And
Oh yeah.
but with that, Jenks, the jerseys came out for the Four Nations Cup as well. I want to hear your thoughts. Rank the Four Nations jerseys in order, 1 to 4.
1 to 4. So I'll start. I'll work my way up. We'll do a countdown. I think. I don't know what it is. I always have just this thing for the Swedish jerseys. I just like the way they look. I like the color scheme based on their country's colors.
Mm-hmm.
But they always seem to be the same. Like, I feel like for 40 years now, they've just been yellow jerseys with their blue emblem, and there's no creativity in design.
Yeah.
So, not that it's a bad jersey, but if we've got to rank them 1 through 4, they're probably number 4 just because it's so similar to all the other jerseys.
Yep.
Finland did a little bit of a different sort of like gradient coloring in the lettering, and it looks like they tried to put a little bit of spice into the jersey there.
Okay.
So I'll put that at 3. Canada and U.S. for me is hard, and I feel like I might be biased here. I just don't know how I feel about I love the emblem of Canada. I don't know how I feel about the horizontal stripes across the center of the jersey.
Okay.
I feel like that throws it off a little bit, but still not a bad jersey at all. They're not my number 2, and I think USA, I think they just nailed it. I'm a fan of these. They're very simple. The logo is front and center. Red and white stripes on the arms. You got the star on the arms. I think they nailed it. I think they're the best jerseys by far.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much the same order. When you were talking about the stripes on Canada's jerseys, the first thought was Team Denmark. Like, you know how like they have
Yep.
there's like the cross in the middle with the white all around. That's my first thought when I saw this. So I agree. I mean, Swedish and Finland, if you follow hockey, it's pretty much the same standard stuff.
Yeah.
Really, there's not much you can do with as far as like country jerseys in a sense, because they kind of have to match, the rest of the country's athletics. So it's hard to switch things up like that. But I think overall we did a good job. I don't know who's sponsoring it. There might be Fanatics sponsoring them.
Yeah, it's Fanatics.
So we'll see if those jerseys hold up so far this year, and see how that is. Although, maybe it's just like one of the Mandela effect things. But have you seen how much an authentic jersey is, Jenks? It's like $350. Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe that's how it always was.
No,
Like
there's no way.
Previous, like before, but just like not even like thinking about it, like $350 for a jersey. An NFL jersey is like 180 max.
That's excessive. You could probably make an argument back when they were like $200 to be like, it's a real jersey. This is stitched. Okay, fine, I'll pay that. $350, you're out of your mind. I'm buying it from China.
Yeah. Get me on the slow boat. Hopefully it doesn't fall off from here to there. But
they'll sew on my 5 backwards like they did on my football jersey.
Or like have a gajillion stitches running throughout the jersey. It's so stiff you can't even move. But
you're right.
One of those.
Maybe okay. It's still $40.
Maybe get like a 4 beer holster thing. Like a waist holster. That's what it is. Yeah. But this past week as well, the Sharks are on the board in pretty much a dramatic fashion as they could possibly get. Down 3 goals. They tie it up in the third, send it to OT, and get the job done finally. And I saw a stat. They were the first team in hockey history to go back-to-back seasons with 9 straight losses. So, I mean, that's hard to do. Setting records no matter what year it is. I mean, do you think they're getting 2 anytime soon, Jenks?
hard to say. I mean, keep in mind they're still without their best player in Celebrini. He's
Yeah.
still out. Um, it's a little bit funny that we were bashing on them last pod, saying, will they ever win a game? And then they come out and finally get one.
Yeah.
It was bound to happen sooner or later. The talent is there. They're just young. They're going to get some wins this year, but it won't be too many. So who knows when the next one will come? I think they've got a tough schedule coming up, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah.
I was looking ahead a little bit. I know they at least have the Canucks on Saturday, and that's probably a loss because Vancouver's pretty tough right now. So it's tough sledding if you're the Sharks right now. You're just a young team battling every day and trying to get a little bit better.
Well, I feel like the team to beat was definitely the Utah Hockey Club. If you're going to beat anybody, beat the trash team in the league. But I just don't know where you can improve in that lineup. Like, are we just going to say, like, hey, we're going to tank for that one Boston College kid that's tearing up the league right now? So, I don't know. I mean, as far as like hockey news goes, this past week has been fairly slow. So I wanted to bring up some just talking points. Around the league, it seems there's this notion of, oh, we're paying 150, 160, 170 bucks for a ticket. What is the most important thing for you as a fan? Jenks goes into the building, pays for a seat, gets his chicken nuggets, his drink, and sits down. What's the atmosphere for Nick Jenkins at these games?
So it's funny. This conversation came up last week. I was talking to a guy, and we're like, the way prices have gone on these tickets, it's absurd. Like, at what point do you say the game has become too expensive to go watch it live? I think, a lot of these NHL rinks and, even some minor leagues and stuff too are adding all of these amenities that are unrelated to the actual game that are going on. Bringing in, high class food and full service bars and smoking lounges and stuff like that. Like, I think it's either Tampa or Florida. One of them has a cigar bar in the arena, but you have to buy a ticket to the game. So they've got guys who are buying tickets to the game to go hang out in the cigar bar and not even watch the game.
Whatever gets the job done, I guess.
But that's part of the problem that's driving these expensive tickets is you've got people who don't even care about going to the game being like, I'm going to buy this ticket so that I can go to that bar.
Yeah.
It's super exclusive because I've got money to blow. I don't know, man. To me, the best games that I see aren't even pro games anymore. In terms of value, I think the best game you can go see from a value perspective is probably junior hockey or college hockey. You go and see, the number one thing to me in the game is I don't care if the arena itself is just this old cement barn and there's, they don't have crazy concessions and they don't have this elaborate design. I don't care. I want to see a good hockey game. I want to see competitive hockey game. I want decent seats, and the hockey game is the number one priority because you got to watch the game.
I mean, do you think at that lower level, it's more about the hockey than whereas like the NHL, it's more about like trying to sell a show?
Probably to some extent because you're trying to. And that's a good question because you should want to grow the game at all levels, right? So how do you incorporate that into like junior hockey and college? I don't really know.
Yeah.
But the NHL for sure is definitely more of a production. But are they making it so much a production that they're trying to justify ticket prices now? I mean, I think even take away the aftermarket sales of tickets alone.
Yeah.
I think even the tickets at the box office are getting too expensive because they're like, oh, we brought in a 4-star restaurant into our arena,
Yeah.
and we've got a cigar smoking bar, and we've got all these other things. So the ticket you used to get at the box office for $50 is now $100 face value.
Yeah.
And then when you go to resell that ticket, you're probably looking at $150 at least for that ticket. And it's like, at what point is it no longer worth it to go watch a hockey game live? Like, if you only care about the hockey game, just watch it on TV.
No, I totally agree. I even think like when I go to a Pens game, like I probably am rarely eating at the game. Like I'll probably get downtown a little early, stop into like a local pizza spot or a local restaurant that I can eat at a decent price. Yeah, it's probably marked up a little bit, but it's not gonna be like I'm getting a Fox's small pizza at the rink for $25 that I can consume in 2.3 seconds.
Right.
So like I see where you're coming from. Like maybe they're trying to justify. I also think it's a ramification from the COVID year. Like these owners have lost so much money just from that one season alone that they're still paying back like all like either the players or the players are still paying back the owners, or however that worked out or got dealt with, that it could be coming to an end. I saw something maybe it was a couple weeks ago now, that this year is the last year the players are paying back the owners for the compensation that they lost. So, which means the cap could possibly go up next year by actually a couple $1 million instead of just like $500,000 or $1 million. So we'll see how that plans out. But to your point, where like the Penguins have a burgatory in their rink, I've never eaten at the Penguin PPG Paints burgatory. Like, nor do I ever want to, because that burger probably costs like $35. And at the junior level, it's more about trying to get like the younger crowd involved. So it's more gimmicky in a sense. Like everybody, like the big teddy bear night, like that's that one team does. Like first goal, teddy bears are just all over the ice, and that they donate them to a charity or whatever they do with those teddy bears. But I think as far as the experience goes at an NHL rink, what I want is to freaking catch one of those stupid t-shirts out of the cannons. I never sit in a spot where those cannons reach. I never sit in a spot where nothing ever falls from the sky and lands in my lap. If you can put me in a seat that can catch a shirt, I would love the NHL till the day I die.
See, but those are the $300 tickets. Like, you got to pay an arm and a leg to get into those seats. Let me ask you this.
I just want one, okay? Let me live.
Yeah, good luck, pal. Let me ask you this. Okay, I'm gonna frame this in a way, because I know, obviously, we're both Penguin fans.
Yep.
So let's say Penguins Game 7 Stanley Cup Final in Pittsburgh. You're like, I'm going to the game. What is the absolute maximum you would be willing to pay on a ticket to get into that building? Game 7 in Pittsburgh.
Max? Shoot. Oh, God. See, I'm cheap, Jenks. Maybe 500 beans.
What if I told you the cheapest ticket to Game 7 last year was over $2,000?
Yeah, there'd be no way. You're even diehard fans. I don't know how you can justify that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who can afford to take out a mortgage to go to a hockey game?
Yeah.
And like, I get it, the experience. Okay, it's a once in a lifetime experience to see your team potentially even lifting the cup in a Game 7 on home ice. That would be super cool. I'm not willing to spend thousands of dollars to have that experience. And like, the casual fan is not willing to do that. You're talking to the top 1% of fans and corporate people who can actually afford to write those off somehow.
Yeah.
No casual fan is spending $2,000 on a hockey ticket for a 3-hour experience.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the NFL, the same thing happens. Like, the biggest games are always like just a networking event, or it's like we're gonna send this one influencer, and they're gonna be like hashtag dice it up, sponsored by hashtag Janks Incorporated. Go give a shout out, and then like there's their 10 grand seat they get for free, and they don't even know anything about hockey or football. So it's like it, it's more of a marketing advertisement event at that game than it is actually for watching.
Yep, 100%.
Like, oh, now we run ads during the play of games. Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't even get me started on YouTube unskippable ads, Jenks. I can't even. I refresh the browser, so like so many times where like the YouTube ad algorithm just like gets so confused. Like this guy's
It breaks.
actually refreshed it for a minute, and he could have just watched the ad. Let's just let him through. Like that's how anti-ad I am with like some of this stuff now. It's actually getting pretty out of hand.
They want you to pay like $50 a month for YouTube Premium just to remove the ads. It's insane.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Buy the $300 NFL package just so we can black out your home game.
Oh, there's a whole nother. You're getting onto a whole nother topic now.
I'm not gonna start Jenks up again.
Can't possibly watch your home team because it's blacked out and you don't pay for cable.
Nope. But I wanted to, there was a sports equinox that happened yesterday, Monday the 28th, Jenk. There was football, baseball, basketball, and hockey all on one day. Of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they came out with the big dub. But are you a World Series fan, Jenks? You got the Dodgers and Yankees on the TV? What are we doing over there?
I'm not watching it. I can tell you that much. I know there's a lot of people watching it because this is like the two most expensive payrolls, and this is supposed to be like, the best World Series ever. I think the Dodgers are up 3-0 at this point.
Yeah.
And Shohei Ohtani's like making a case to be the best baseball player in the history of the league. So, yeah, I can understand why people are watching it. I'm a Cleveland fan. They get knocked out, I pretty much lose interest. But I'll say I'm a casual baseball fan, very casual.
I am a no baseball fan until the Pirates become good or the owner of the Pirates, Bill Nutting, sells the team. I will never enjoy baseball ever.
So you'll never be a baseball fan.
I'll never be a baseball fan. That's number one. But I am a fan of the Erie Otters, and couple days ago, McDavid went down with an injury on a missed tripping call, huh? Ref, come on. What are we doing? Sending the guy down hard into the boards. It looked like he either, I'm not going to speculate, but hyperextended an ankle or like really bad, just cranked it, maybe a micro fracture. He did get up and skate a little bit, but he was in pain. He's going back to Edmonton, Jenks. Now, the reason why I asked this is does this disrupt his banner night in EIPA?
No, he's got 2 months to recover from this. This is marked in pen on his calendar. He'll be there no matter what.
Sharpie. It's on his wife's forehead, so he doesn't forget either.
Right.
That's freaking hilarious.
I really hope, for his sake, obviously, and for the Oilers' sake, I hope this isn't a major injury. It's never a good sign when he's getting sent back to Edmonton for evaluation.
Yeah.
Especially when they're still on a road trip. So that team doesn't turn real well when McDavid's not around. So we're going to find out what that means for the Oilers in the near term. And hopefully he's not on crutches when he comes in on January 10th into Erie.
So you're saying that McDavid going down could quite possibly tank the Oilers season here?
I'm saying it has the potential to tank their season, depending on how long he's out.
Oh man, not ideal for Canada fans.
He is the gas that makes that engine run.
Yeah. I mean, usually when Crosby's down, Malkin elevates his game a little bit. let's see if Leon can do the same. I know it's a big hurdle to get across, and obviously, like I said earlier this season, Hyman ain't doing garbage. Garbage man ain't collecting. Garbage man's retired. He's done. He got his paycheck and he left the building. It's the same thing, same issue we got going on in Pittsburgh right now. Jari got his paycheck and he left the building. And the news with Jari is he got sent down to the AHL, Jenks. The AHL. He's not even hurt. A conditioning loan, they said. I don't know, or maybe I'm just blind. Which, quite honestly, what I'm told, I am very blind. Jari might not see the NHL again. That's a lot of dead cap space, Jenks. For nothing.
I mean, that's lofty. It is a conditioning stint, so he can't stay down there permanently unless they send him through waivers. So he will at least be back on the NHL roster. I think they're probably doing this to let him go down there and get some confidence back and then give him another crack at it. But let's say they give him one more crack at it and he falls flat on his face again. There's a good chance that they're going to think about at least trying to find a trade for him or potentially waiving him. He's been really bad this year. He was extremely inconsistent last year. And, Blomqvist and Nedeljkovic have a pretty good hold on that net right now, so it's going to be hard for him to work his way back in.
I mean, didn't we see this with Jack Campbell, though? Like, the guy went down to the AHL and then went down to the ECHL. Like, the guy is freaking... Here's my thing about the goalie position, and this might be a good talking point here. Is like, how many chances are you going to be given, right? Like, we saw Matt Murray get a ton of chances. And I don't want to say I give up on people easily, but when your sole purpose is just, like, you're the guy. Like, every team carries, 4 goalies, and that's it. One's in the AHL that can go both ways, and you have 3 that are, like, your core guys. I don't know if you can just, like, keep giving a guy second and third and 4 chances and be like, dude, like, you gotta go figure yourself out. Like, go get a trainer. Maybe, I don't know, hold your glove up a little higher. I mean, that could possibly work. And maybe don't have knees made of Johnny Glassbone Jones. Like, I don't know how you could fix a goalie that's just, like, not producing well.
I think all goalies probably go through a bad slump. Like, it just happens at some point. You don't have it. You lost your mojo. You have a couple bad games, and then you bounce back. So there is something to be said about letting a goalie get his confidence back and then throwing him back in there. But if he continues to fail, at what point do you cut bait? I think to your point, you got to say, we got to do what's best for the team. Don't care how much we're paying you. Yeah. We're playing the guy who's going to give us the best chance to win. And we're kind of seeing the same thing going on in Colorado right now, where their supposed number one, Georgiev, is playing just absolutely miserable. And Anunin stepping in and has won 4 straight games and looks like the better goalie. And at what point do you say, I think they've got somebody else in that organization too. I mean, at what point does Colorado say we've seen enough out of Georgiev, we're moving on? Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody that makes a lot more money than me and can decide on how many chances somebody could get in that one position can make that decision. But we see players go up and down all the time, and case in point is New York Rangers superstar fan love affair Matt Rempe got sent down to the AHL and pretty much immediately got called back into the NHL, or at least called back up. I forget. I saw a post online that they did this to circumvent some like weird NHL rule. I don't know if you know it offhand, but it was like some weird like too many players on the roster type of jam. But it was.
I'm not familiar with the rule. Yeah, I know what you're getting at though.
It was like some weird, like, all right, we have to send you down, but we're gonna bring you back up tomorrow, just so we don't get fined or something like that. But I want to see Matt Rempe back in. The heavyweights need their day in the NHL, especially if you have Matt Tkachuk around the net. Did you see that video of him just like sliming into the
Yeah.
crease and getting that goal? Like that's an epic Matt Tkachuk video if I've ever seen one. That's it. And then if you have Matt Rempe on the bench, does he do that? I don't know, but it was a shitty team. So
That the Kachuk goal, that's like the greasy goals that you need somebody on your team who's going to do that. Just
Yeah.
go to the dirty areas and absolutely grind it out.
but that's also like one of those things where you would definitely get a flying elbow to the face. Like
Oh
somebody
God,
in
yeah.
in 18U double B is coming from the blue line with
You know
the
it.
Superman fist straight to that guy's face. And
Yeah.
and that's what Rempe would do. And then maybe he's a deterrent for some of these guys. Um, it's
I think
good.
Yeah, I think Rempe is probably going to become like a situational play now, where they're
Okay.
like, oh, we're playing, the example you just used. Oh, we're playing Florida tonight. We need Rempe to just take it to Kachuk and
Sit
make
on the
him think
bench.
twice
Yeah.
about going to those areas.
Well, the guy carried 2 black eyes in the playoffs. Like, I mean, the guy's an
He's
actual warrior.
he's a tough dude. There's no doubt about that.
And continuing on just that aspect of just being called up, we got an e-bug situation a few nights ago where 61-year-old Doug Melvin of the Toledo Walleye got called up to be the emergency backup goalie. Just sat on the bench, didn't get any action, but just wanted to call it out. You don't see that pretty often. Usually they're up in the stands, munching on the popcorn. It's actually pretty fascinating that like every city has one guy that can just get a call no matter what. To be that in that e-bug situation is pretty sick.
Oh yeah, and even to not get in the game, at least to sit on the bench and be like, I'm I'm
Yeah,
I'm back. This is my shot. I'm
all
part
the
of the
way back.
team. Yeah,
And we even got like a few situations, within the last couple of years, like Scott Foster and the guy from Toronto, like the back
yeah,
Zamboni driver. Those type of situations like live on forever, and that guy will be a legend in beer league, and maybe
yeah.
tossed around at the bar once or twice, like hey, backup goalie, Toronto, got a Gino in the game, whatever, no big deal. But I wanted to give you a chance to elaborate on any college hockey news for us this week, Jenks.
You you're gonna have to cut that. You just cut out for like the last 10 seconds there.
Fuck. All right, can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yep.
All right. Any college hockey news for us, Jenks?
Not too much in the way of college hockey. We're another week into the season. Most teams have somewhere between 6 and 10 games played at this point. Um, there's a couple of notes to mention in terms of undefeated teams. We've only got 2 left that haven't even lost in regulation or in overtime at this point.
Okay.
Denver, ranked number 1 in the country, the defending champs, they're still 6-0. But also the surprising one, Colorado College, 4-0-0 at this point in the season. I know they've only played 4 games, but still haven't suffered a defeat yet.
Okay.
So they're up to number 8 in the polls. Top 5 pretty much remains unchanged at this point. As far as the leaders go, we've already mentioned him once this year, and he plays for Denver. Jack Devine is number 1 in points again. He's got 14 points in 6 games. The best goalie so far this year has been Owen Say out of Notre Dame. He's played 3 games. He's got 3 wins and 95 saves for a 969 save percentage.
All
I'd say
right.
that's pretty darn good so
Yes,
far.
sir.
Best save percentage in the country at this point. So Notre Dame looks like a threat. The one piece that I did want to touch on briefly, and I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, projected number 1 overall pick next year, James Higgins from Boston College. We're on number 1 overall pick, and he's the projected number 1. He's got 6 points through his first 4 games of college hockey. But I've already seen some clips, and I think this is what you were saying too. He looks dynamite out there.
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't have the most points in the country, he's flying around the zone, controlling the puck. I've seen him do like Cale Makar type circles in the zone, where people just can't touch him, and he's got control of the puck, and he can do whatever he wants with it. I mean, it certainly looks awful good this early in the season. I can see why he's in contention for being the first pick off the board next year. Maybe going to San Jose. We'll see.
Maybe going with his boy Celebrini, the Boston boys.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty sick. Some of those clips. There's a video going around of like, you know how like when the video locks onto your head and like you can just like move and it's just like a gyroscope. There is a video of him not looking at the puck once and just dancing around people, like you said, just gliding around there. So. That's what I thought I was doing out there, just skating around. The PIHL boys are out there just dipsy doodling, and then all of a sudden, bang one in on Cathedral Prep. So shout out right there. So,
jeez, bud. Then you go back and look at the video, and you're looking straight down at the puck the whole time.
Yeah, straight down. Not even seeing anybody backdoor, just ripping it short side high, getting it blocked. Yeah, that was me. One closing note. There are no more undefeated teams left in the NHL. Winnipeg finally lost to this is our year, Toronto Maple Leafs. So unfortunately, the last team falls. But Winnipeg, what a hot start. We alluded to it last time, and Toronto, that could be the boost that they need to get back on the horse here. Maybe Austin Matthews, Poppy captain, could raise his game a little bit and help the boys out. I wanted to point out, Ovi, we are now 40 goals away, Jenks. Mark it on your calendars. That's 1 goal a game, and we can get there by the end of the season, or half a goal a game, if you even want to go that far. Maybe split a puck in half and toss one in and one in 82 games. So, do you think he gets it done? I
don't think he gets it done this season, but I think he gets it. I think it's more likely that he hits it next year, but I do think he's going to get it.
So maybe pot like 30 in this year, and then like go for a victory lap year and get 10 and call it a day.
Yep.
Does it count in playoffs?
That's a good question. I want to say no.
I would say the Caps are a dark horse team right now to make playoffs. I would say they're starting off the season pretty good. We never see this out of the Caps. Usually they're right in line with the Penguins at the beginning of the season because they're dog shit. So it's like, where are they going to fit in? Everybody's a little older on that team, but they're coming out swinging so far. And I think it's shocked a lot of people in the hockey community. So I don't want to say it's not possible, but 40 and you have over 70 games left?
Yep.
I mean, it could get done this season, Jenks.
It's possible. He's going to have to start burying a lot of empty netters here.
Hey, that's what I do. I'd be like, Ovi go. Just Ovi stand at the red line, and everybody else are going to play a power play in there.
Stand at the far blue line and just Murphy dump it to him and let him bury it.
They don't ask how, Jenks. They don't ask how. They just ask how many at the end of the day.
That's it.
How many empty netters did Wayne have? I bet you a ton.
Probably enough. Yeah, I'm sure.
Half the time he was shooting against empty netters. He'd just move out of the way, move one way, move the other way, and the goalie would be in the corner. Like that's who he played against. So
pretty much.
Moving on to everybody's favorite segment here, writing on the wall pick. We are going to Saturday, November 2nd, Jenks. Lots of games to be played, lots of games to be made, lots of goals to be had. Give me your writing on the wall pick for November 2nd.
So I want to start with two teams that struggled to begin the year. And I probably already know where I'm going with this. But the Avs and the Predators were both teams with high expectations coming into this season. They both started off just miserable. Just as about as bad a start as you could want from these teams.
Pretty much.
And they've started to bounce back. The Avs are 5-5 at this point. The Preds are 3-5-1. So maybe turning it around, to be determined. The Avs seem to have stabilized their net a little bit with a Noonan. I think the Predators are losing some tight games that they'd like to have back at this point.
Yeah.
But that's going to be an absolute battle because even this early in the season, with the way they've started, every point matters. They've got to find a way to start getting some wins and climb up the top of the division, build a little bit of a buffer for themselves, or they're going to be battling every night all year long. So I think this game is going to have, playoff vibes to it in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I think the better team at this point, throwing Noonan in that net, there's some confidence and swagger with that Avs team again. They look like they didn't have it to start the year, but They look like they might have it back. Cale Makar is second in scoring in the league and making his case for the Norris this year. He's been good defensively. He's been good offensively. So we'll see how that shapes up. But keep him in your Norris mix, people.
Okay.
I think the Avs probably go in there and they just want it more, and they've got the firepower to do it. Between McKinnon, Makar, Rantanen, those three are going to get it done. McKinnon's one of the hungriest players in the NHL, and he'll just go in there and battle all game. So I'm taking the Avs on the road to take out the Nashville Predators on Saturday and start their season comeback.
All right. I can get behind that one. We're both tied up at 2-1. Last week we gave out winners, so if you parlayed them, you probably doubled your mortgage payment, like the both of us did. So this week I'm looking at another garbage team. Maybe call me the garbage collector. I'm looking at a team that rookie sensation has been really lighting it up this year so far. 9 points in 10 games. The other rookie sensation that they have on their team, 0-3 with a .872 save percentage. Not great. But we're not starting him this game because they're playing the Boston Bruins. I'm going to be taking, I hate to say it, the Philadelphia Flyers over the Boston Bruins. Now,
wow.
I hate the Bruins almost more than I hate Philly just because of this Michkov guy. But I think they're going to start Korpisalo, give Swayman a little breather. He just signed the big 8x8. He's going to have to buy everybody dinner, probably on the road in Philly, maybe get a cheesesteak, slow Korpisalo down. I think the Flyers come out here and surprise and shock the Bruins, and the Bruins are going to be battling back on their heels all night, and they just don't have the gumption that the Flyers have. And I'm going to take Flyers over the Boston Bruins Saturday, responsibly, of course.
That's a bold pick. I respect that pick.
Last week I picked a garbage team in the Canadiens, so I'm like, hey, why not stick to, if it ain't broke, Jenks, don't fix it. Any final thoughts, Jenks?
No, man. If you're listening to this when it comes out, get out, enjoy the good weather before the snow starts flying. Assuming that you're living in an area where we're experiencing this heat wave. Make sure to stay tuned into the socials. Look for more content coming from us.
Yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. Make sure you get out there, scare some people, pass out some candy. Don't be putting razor blades and candies like a crazy person, or cyanide and Jolly Ranchers or whatever the news is telling you these days. I stopped watching the news a little while ago. So, my name is Wayne Adams. I'm right here as always with your co-host Nick Jenkins. And we're out of here. Later. Happy Halloween.